What's going on, folks? Friendly neighborhood old soldier coming at you again today from Robeson County, North Carolina, where it's hot, hot, hot. Went out and worked in the yard this morning for about an hour and a half, and I'm completely and utterly exhausted and drained. Um, but with the weather being said now, put it aside. Today is National Airborne Day. So to my fellow paratroopers out there, airborne, hope you have a great one. Keep your feet and knees together. Winds are at 13 knots and holding on to DZ. DZSO says it's a go. Soft landings to see at the rally point. Sadly, I really can't enjoy today. Watching the news, what's going on in Afghanistan. Should we have gotten involved as long as we did in Afghanistan? No. But we did. We had a promise to the Afghan people that we would take care of them. We're reneging on that promise. This exit strategy, being what it is completely and utterly disgraceful. And the sad part is the left criticized President Trump when he had mentioned about pulling troops out of Afghanistan. And he had a plan, an organized plan for that withdrawal. But we'll never know if it would have been successful or not because whatever reason wound up staying in Afghanistan during his presidency. Whoever talked him into staying, I don't know. His advisors, his generals, I don't know. Whoever's currently advising the current president is a bunch of bucknuts. You can substitute the B for an F if you want to say it that way. Okay? And now I'm gonna play devil's advocate here too, though. Seeing the throngs of people crowding the airport in Kabul, if they had the willingness to stand up and fight for their country instead of depending on foreign power, maybe they could defeat the Taliban. Old soldier, you can't say that. Yes, I can. We've been there for 20 years. And some would say, well, you're comparing it to what happened in Vietnam. No, I'm not. There are similarities, i.e. corrupt governments. Okay. But there are a nucleus of people in Afghanistan that gave a crap about their country that are willing to stand up and fight that we trained. Okay. The problem is the main majority of the populace wanted to go on living their lives the way they were without any accountability. It's part of it. Not the whole thing, but part of it. You see, their willingness to cave in instead of fight back. Well, they have to have something to fight back with. Yeah, you're right. They do. So where's the 300,000 strong Afghan National Army that President Blowjob Biden come out and said was ready to take over and fight back? Where are they? Where did those weapons go? Plenty of pictures floating around on the internet showing the captured stocks that we left behind that the Taliban has captured now that will eventually be used in world terrorism around the world as they try to spread Islam. And China's trying to spread communism. Okay? Mark my words, some of that stuff probably won't getting sold to China. I am beyond pissed off. I never personally went to Afghanistan. My time was Iraq. And I was pissed off about what happened in Iraq when ISIS came through. Difference was we did send some forces back in to help regain control of the region. The problem I've got is when we tried to tell the Peshmerga that they couldn't do what they wanted to do. You know what? Peshmerga had a lot to do with saving Iraq from ISIS. So the best thing to do is stay out of their way and let them fight their war how they see fit. Because the courage, if you ask me, in my opinion, about the only one's worth fighting for over there anyway. But it's my opinion. Back to what's going on in Afghanistan is utterly atrocious. We as a nation ought to be ashamed of ourselves. We should be ashamed of our president and his staff. But I'm also going to say this now. I'm going to say this. Now, some people might take this the wrong way. Ain't Joe Biden's fault entirely. Oh, soldier, you turning leftist liberal? No. We all know Joe Biden is a guinea pig idiot. He's somebody's puppet. He's only going to say what's put in front of him, no more, no less. He cannot think for himself outside of, come on then, and wanting to fight people. Because there was Trump, Obama, and Bush all before Biden. Now, the reality is, when we went over in 2002, initially after 9/11, and we put a hurting on the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, bloodied their nose hard and furious, that's when we should have pulled out and said, now, if you do it again, we're going to come back over and level this whole place. Culture be damned. But no, we wanted to go find bin Laden. So in order to do that, we put a large force on the ground. Then we got our allies to put a large force on the ground. And we got more involved than really what we ought to. Plain and simple. Because now I'm going to make my next point. And I've talked about this before. You see, when your hands are tied, because through the Bush, Obama, Trump administrations, we were told you can't influence the culture. You see, you have to be able to influence the culture to an extent that when you see things that are wrong with the way they're living, the way they treat people, the way they govern, you have to call it out and you have to show them another way. Now, whether they adopt that method or not, it eventually falls on them, their responsibility. My point being is their way of life is not conducive to what we see as normal or what we see as right and just and morally correct. So many of the people that did work with the allies while they were there are in danger and more than likely will be outed, imprisoned, killed, their families killed. Women who went to school, got an education, learned how to drive, own businesses, or teaching in school, if they don't get out of the country, they'll probably be raped, mutilated, and then killed. I'm just telling you what's going to come. Mark my words. You see, the Taliban are true Islamists in the truest sense and truest form. They do not value women for human beings. Women are for reproduction purposes only. Affection can only be shown from one male to another. Oh, so you can't say that. That's just wrong. That's racist. That's intolerant. I'm just telling you how it is because I saw it in Iraq. And that's what's going to happen once they take Kabul. So until then, that's all I got for today. This rant's over. God bless. Take care. Soul Drought.